Leave the door wide open, huh? You can do whatever you want.
I know.
I don't know, I don't wanna do that. You play sports?
Yeah, in the summer I play
The same way?
baseball.
You pretty good?
Mm-hmm.
Alright. How about you, Kizzy? Do you play sports?
Not yet. I'm gonna do basketball.
Alright, that's good. You need more girls playing basketball, because the numbers aren't very good. Maybe next year, my daughter's gonna graduate this year, so maybe next year I might get involved with that. Really? Oh, I'm not shy, I can hold you up, you record. Okay, you can drop the screen so we can see what else, there he is.
Hi. So, whenever I'm ready.
Whenever you're ready.
Hi, my name is Waylon Lee, and I'd like to read to you a story of mine called The Mystery of the Missing Professor. Vroom vroom. The car pulled out of the long driveway and onto the road of excitement. Billy and James were going to the Ridgeway University in Miami, Florida, to visit their friend, Professor McLean. It was a long 12-hour drive from Ohio to Miami. They just got on Route 65 in the dark night. The stars were glistening in the night sky. They were so beautiful that it seemed that they had the ability to light the whole world. They passed rivers, valleys, and mountains until they finally saw a big green sign that read, Miami, 63 miles away. Yahoo, we're almost there. Yippee, Billy remarked excitedly. I'm excited too, James replied, not taking his eyes off the wheel. Next, the brothers' car turned on exit 52 that led onto a rocky dirt road with a lot of oak trees scattered everywhere. Suddenly, the car hit a big, dusty stone rock, and the car heaped high into the air. The car landed aggressively onto the ground. After the crash, the car rolled into a grassy ditch on the side of the road. The boys immediately jumped out of the passenger's door, since the driver's door was smashed in. The boys Looks like we have ourselves a flat tire, James said, explaining what had happened. Well, now what are we going to do? I bet Professor is worried about us, Billy said in a voice like he was blaming his brother. Shh, don't you hear that? Honk, honk. A semi was inside of the brothers. It had a blue front and a silver horn. The semi had, written in golden letters on the side, Miami's best food service. I bet it's heading to Miami, James said. Wait here. James sprang into action and leaped in front of the semi, waving his hands in the air. The truck driver saw that they needed a ride, so a man with a black mustache stepped out of the vehicle. Hop in. An hour later, Billy and James arrived in Miami. The truck driver dropped them off at the beach. Miami is an amazing sight, Billy said, amazed by the gorgeous sight right at his very own little fingertips. You've got that right, little bro, James acknowledged. Then James looked around to get a better point of view. James saw maps outside an orange hut selling snow cones and refreshments. Those look good, Billy said with his mouth quivering with hunger. We can't stay long, James said while grabbing a map. Oh, that's good. The university's only 2 blocks down from here. And they were off sprinting down the road. Once they got there, Billy was breathing really heavily. Okay, dude, you've really got to start working out, chuckled James at the sight of his brother. Then a kid with brown hair, white skin, and a Ridgeway University t-shirt and jeans walked over to the boys. Hello, are you new students? He asked. No, but do you know where Professor McLean is? James asked. Haven't seen him since this morning. Hey, did you know that Tom had a secret compartment in his dorm? He asked, not being very helpful. No, we will go check it out then, Billy said, feeling awkward. So they went to his house after getting directions from the boy. They walked up onto the porch and let themselves in. Do you really have a secret compartment in this place? James demanded, waiting for Tom to tell him an answer. It's true, I do, but I only use it to hide my writing, he explained, acting innocent. I didn't want anyone to know about it until it was finished. It was supposed to be a surprise. He then opened a compartment in the wall, but there was no object in it. It was as empty as an unhappy man's soul. Where's my writing? Oh no, someone probably took it. This is horrible. Why today? I don't want to be a fail. Calm down, we'll find your writing, Billy interrupted. Billy noticed that there was a mud path leading from the window to the secret compartment. Question, do you ever clean your shoes? That wasn't me, and yes, I clean my shoes once a week, Tom said, defending himself. We better start investigating then. See you later, Tom, James said. Before they left, James stopped in his footsteps, spun around and asked one more question. Did you happen to tell anyone the location to your safe, Billy requested. No one, except my trusting best friend Pablo. He lives right next to me if you want to go ask. The brothers ran outside to a blue house with a red hut. It was a two-story house. They went to the door immediately and let themselves in. It was a habit. Hello, is this Pablo's house? A man with a Richway University t-shirt, the same that the boy was wearing, came out and said, I am not Pablo, but I am Pablo's friend. Was he here last night? Billy asked, getting down to the important part. Yes, he was. It was Monopoly night, he responded. They went back to Tom's dorm and scanned around the building, up and down, left to right, until Billy saw a ladder leading up to Tom's bedroom window where his compartment was hidden. James, come here. Do you think this is how the thief got in? James thought about the question and then responded, That's a good thought. The question is, who? We need to search for clues, and I have a great idea on where to look. They were at the doorsteps of Professor McLean's office. What are we going to find in here? Billy asked curiously. How much you want to bet that we'll find something in here? James asked cockily. I'm good. Next, James grabbed hold of the doorknob and the door creaked open. The room was as dirty as a dog who took a recent roll in the mud. This place looks abandoned. I think someone was looking for something, but what could it be? James mumbled to himself. Billy started searching for what the object could be. He got a little too excited and knocked over a book on the shelf. There was something like a note taped to the back of the wall. The note read, If you are reading this, please keep this disc on the back of the notes safe. That's easy. Let's just keep the door locked and keep the disc in its hiding place, Billy said, sure of himself. James agreed with his brother's suggestion, and they were off to search for more clues. Once they got out, they heard a loud crash, and they tried to open the door, but oh yeah, they had locked the door. Billy dashed outside and ran quickly over to Tom's dorm. What are you doing? James yelled, but it was no use. Billy was already gone. James couldn't see Billy's face when he was coming back because he was holding a giant ladder. James darted over to Billy to help carry the ladder. They placed the ladder down and climbed up. When the boys got to the top, they realized something was missing, and sure enough, it was the disc. I knew it was a bad idea to just lock the door. I think we should investigate Pablo's house once more, James suggested. It was getting dark and lightning was flashing in the distance. There were dark shadows over by the oak trees formed with the help of the moon. This is creepy trying to solve the mystery and all. It's just like the scary movies Dad used to watch. This place gives me the chills, Billy said, petrified. Once they finally arrived, James was relieved because Billy was screaming like a 2-year-old girl. Here's something to do besides cry, James said, trying to get under Billy's skin. Go ring the doorbell. When Billy reached the door, he saw a note that read, Underground, there's something to be found. Look, James, I found a riddle. I think riddles are so challenging, said Billy, groaning. So there's something underground and something to be found, James repeated, pacing the doorstep back and forth. Maybe there are underground tunnels at the bottom of the university, said Billy thoughtfully. After that statement, James looked at Billy confused. What? It's possible. You know, it is. There may be something online about underground tunnels under a university. Yeah, that's normal. Well, I'm checking it anyway. After the argument, Billy headed for the front doors and worked his way to the library. Billy sat down at a big black Dell computer. Okay, let's go to Google, he thought to himself. He began to type, tunnels under Ridgeway University in Florida. There was a link that popped up. It showed the whole landscape. Then a lake popped up with a cave. The cave had water flowing into it. There was also a cliff overlooking the cave. I've got to show James. Then Billy addressed it to Microsoft. He addressed it to Microsoft and clicked the big print button. James was waiting for him at the bottom of the stairs. I told you so, literally rubbing the picture in James's face. Okay, you were right, James said, trying hard not to say right. I made you say it, I made you say it. Do the victory dance, raise the roof, Billy danced around. We should probably get headed to the cave. It was becoming dark. It felt really warm compared to Ohio. There were numerous trees in their way. All of them were obstacles, and it was starting to get old having to push the leaves and branches out of the way. When they arrived at the creek, all they saw was a beautiful waterfall. Where's the cave? It was supposed to be right here. Wait, you wouldn't think it'd be behind the waterfall, do you? Billy asked. Wait right here. That's a possibility. But how do we get across? Just then, James spotted stones slightly under the water and hopped on one. It was sturdy enough, so he jumped to another one close by. Eventually, he made it across. It's safe and there is a cave. Let's go, Billy. Billy followed the stones and eventually made it. Are you ready? James asked. Ready as I'll ever be, Billy replied. Next, they entered the dusty cave and Billy tripped on a wire of some sort. Boulders rolled, covering their only exit. I really dislike tripwires, Billy grumbled. Looks like our only hope is forward. After a while, carved into the wall said, Go to the Book of Knowledge. Enough with these stupid riddles and tricks already. It's getting old, Billy complained. The boys turned around and saw a card on the ground. But it wasn't a card, it was a piece of parchment. Plans for a robot, it read. What does this have to do with anything, Billy wondered. Maybe the riding, stealing thieves in mechanics class? First, let's find a way out of this cave, Billy suggested. Then, getting a little worried, the brothers were trying to find a way out. Billy was searching for tripwires and James was searching over by the boulders. After a while, Billy and James became tired. So Billy rested his back up against a wall, but it was hard to get comfortable with the fact that the walls were made of stone. He put his back up against one of the stone walls. Then one of the stones fell out and more stones started twisting and turning until the stones formed an exit. Wow, what did I push though? I guess it doesn't matter anymore. The boys came out right on top of a cliff in the computer picture. Let's go look at Pablo's records. Here's the plan, James said. The boys were in their spots. Billy was by the fire alarm and James was by the office door. Ding, ding, ding. The principal shot out of the office and ran out of the building, thinking there was a fire. After a few seconds, to make sure he was gone, James went into the office. Billy followed. He grabbed the cabinet labeled P and searched for the name Pablo. Once he found it, he heard the principal coming back. Billy grabbed his things and yelled, "Suicide!" He ran to the window and jumped. James followed his action and they were both knocked out. After a couple hours went by and they woke up. What happened? Oh yeah, let's open the folder, James said. Billy opened the folder and it said that he went to the classes of math, science, mechanics, programming, and the history of the school. Pablo's in history of the school class, so that's probably how he found out about the cave, James said. No, let's figure out the book of knowledge. Maybe it's a book in the library. Let's go search there. They arrived at the library a couple minutes later. When they got in, they asked the librarian where their book would be located. The librarian said she had no clue what they were talking about. The boys said thank you anyway and went to try and take books off the shelf. And eventually they grabbed one, but it only moved a little. The staircase that the book was on rolled over to the wall, and then a staircase leading downstairs appeared after a tile moved. Billy and James walked slowly down the staircase and into a room with a chair, a couch, a robot, and Pablo. Pablo, I knew it was you. Why did you take Tom's writing? Asked Billy. I never wanted his writing. I wanted the video game that was on that disc that Professor made so I could sell it and become all rich. I asked if anyone was coming over to visit Professor, and he said yes. So I trapped him, Pablo explained, feeling accomplished. Then he hit a button on the wall, and the wall raised, and Professor McLean was tied up in a cage. I am the reason for his disappearance. I stole Tom's writing just as a distraction. I have also been taking the history of the school class, and that's how I found out about the cave. I knew it. I also took programming class, and I made a robot. I sent this robot to Monopoly Night so I could steal the writing, Pablo explained. Thanks for the confession. I'll be taking this recording to the cops, Billy taunted. Pablo was too busy with his confession. He didn't know he was being recorded by Billy. Billy ran up the stairs and James ran to set Professor free. We must go save Billy. Hurry, Professor yelled. The chase was on. On the run, James called the cops. In the meantime, Billy was running as fast as his little legs could carry him. Billy ran to a wall, backflipped over it and ran past Pablo. Then Pablo did the midair splits over a green decorative bush. He ran out of the front automatic doors just as the cops pulled in. Here's the video, sir, Billy said full of respect. We'll be taking this criminal to jail for you, said the officer as he handcuffed Pablo. If you guys are this good at solving mysteries, there's one up in Illinois, said the cop. At that moment, Billy and James realized their adventure was far from over.